Hello everyone. We are going to mostly learn about the particle 에 in this lesson. Let's start. The next particle we are going to learn is the particle 에. This particle has several usages. The grammar book or the dictionary says it has about 15 usages. But you don't need to know them all, as I always say. I will teach you 3 usages of this particle 에 in this lesson, and that will be enough for you for a while. The first usage, this particle 에 is used to indicate a point in time. If it is hard to understand the concept of a point in time, or if you don't think it makes sense, then you can just think that this particle 에 is added to a time-related noun. Time-related noun plus 에. So let's just call this particle time particle. Of course, there is no space between the noun and the particle 에. Before we learn the nouns that can be used with this particle 에, I want to show you the words that are never used with this particle 에 together, because there have been many learners who were confused about this. First, you don't use this particle 에 with a noun which can also be an adverb. For example, 어제, yesterday, 오늘, today, 내일, tomorrow, 그제, the day before yesterday, 모레, the day after tomorrow, 지금, now, etc. There can be more, but I can't think of anything else now. In English, you don't have a noun for the day before yesterday and the day after tomorrow, but Korean has. Of course, you need to memorize these words rather than understand them. Second, you don't add this particle 에 to a time-related word which does not exactly indicate a point in time, but indicates something repetitive or something happens more than once. For example, 매일, every day, 매주, every week, 매달, every month, 매년, every year, 가끔, sometimes, 자주, often, 항상, always. In fact, the real reason is because these words are all adverbs. I know it's hard for you to distinguish nouns from adverbs in Korean, so you can just think these words are used to indicate something repetitive or consistent rather than a point in time. Plus, these words are not nouns in English either. Now, let's see some examples of the words that are used with the time particle 에. This word 전 is a noun which indicates a certain point in the past. Let's add a time particle 에. 전에, 전에. 전에 means before as an adverb. If you want to make a sentence like I lived in Korea before, you need to use this 전에. 전에. And 전 should be with the particle 에 to mean before. It's not optional. You must use it. Yes, 에 is one of the case particles. If I don't say otherwise, or if I don't say this particle has a certain meaning or nuance, then it will be always one of the case particles. Let's see a bunch of examples together. 옛날에, 옛날에. Even if I don't emphasize this repetitively, the words in blue on this page are all nouns. Okay? 옛날 is a noun which means the old times. If you add a particle 에 to this noun, it becomes 옛날에, and it means a long time ago. Let's skip the explanation and just see the meanings. I believe you'll be able to guess the meaning of the nouns used on this page anyway. 나중에, later. 작년에, last year. 올해에, this year. 내년에, next year. 아침에, in the morning. 오전에, before noon. In English, before noon is just morning, but in Korean, we have different nouns for morning and before noon. Morning, 아침, usually indicates the time from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And before noon, 오전, is used to indicate the time between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. It's not a rule, but something like that. 정오에 at noon, 점심에 at lunchtime, 오후에 in the afternoon, 저녁에 in the evening, 밤에 at night, 낮에 in the daytime or during the daytime, 지난주에 last week. 지난 means past, 주 means a week. So 지난주 means past week, which means last week. This is just a tip so you can forget. 지난 is like determiner, like a modifier which modifies the noun 주, which means week. So 지난주 together can be like an adverbial phrase in English. What did I tell you about adverbs in regards to a particle? Yes, you don't add a particle to an adverb in Korean. Adverbial phrases can work like an adverb, so in fact, you don't have to add this particle 에 to 지난주, last week. But 주 is still a noun, which means a week. So please add this particle 에 all the time for practice purposes. Cannot add and can add are totally different. You've already seen the words that cannot be used with this particle 에 in the previous page. 지난주 can be used with the particle 에, so please always use it. Next, 이번 주에, this week. 다음 주에, next week. 어젯밤에, last night. Let's take a look at this one together. 어젯밤 is the combination of 어제, yesterday, and 밤, night, yesterday night, which means last night in English. So it's 어제 plus 밤. The question is why this final s consonant is added to the 제 sound of 어제. I explained about this in one of my original videos, but I want to skip this part in this lesson because you wouldn't like it. Further, it will be too hard for you to understand. Just remember it as spelling. 어젯밤에, last night. 오늘 밤에, tonight. 오늘 means today and 밤 means night. So you can see why 오늘 밤 means tonight. But always add a time particle 에 for now. 오늘 밤에, tonight. 내일 밤에, tomorrow night. If you see these two words, 오늘 밤 and 내일 밤 closely, you can see that there is no space between 오늘 and 밤, but there is a space between 내일 and 밤. Why? It's simple. 오늘 밤 is one word in Korean, just like tonight in English. But 내일 밤 is the combination of two words, 내일 and 밤. The spacing rule is not very important for you now. Just remember it's similar to English. You basically put a space between two different words except the grammatical elements like particles or endings. 어제 아침에, yesterday morning. Of course, when you use 어제, 오늘, 내일 alone, you cannot add this particle 에. But the words like 밤 and 아침 are nouns. So you can add a time particle 에 here. 어제 아침에, yesterday morning. And this particle 에 is definitely used to indicate a certain time. 10시에, at 10 o'clock. 열 means 10, and 시 is the word you can use to mean o'clock in Korean. 10시에, at 10 o'clock. Please don't forget at is used here. It's not just 10 o'clock, but at 10 o'clock. 10시에. One thing which is nice to remember here is the fact that a noun turns into an adverb or an adverbial phrase with this particle 에. For example, 오후 is a noun which means afternoon, but 오후에 means in the afternoon. Got it? Great. Next usage. This particle 에 is used to indicate a destination. Of course, it is still added to a noun, which is a destination. Let's see some examples right away. You'll understand this better if you see some examples. Let's see the English sentence first. I am going to school now. The present continuous tense is used, and I can see a time-related word, now. What is the destination here? Yes, school is the destination. If I put this sentence in the usual order in Korean, it would be I, now, to school, am going. The time-related word now can be positioned right after the subject I, and the destination school is positioned right before the predicate am going, since the destination is directly related to the verb go. As I said, this is not a rule, but just the usual order people tend to use. I, 저. Let's use the topic particle 는, 저는. Now, 지금. As you learned, the word 지금, which means now, can be an adverb too. So you cannot add a time particle 에. It's not like you don't have to, you cannot. To school. School is 학교 in Korean. This is the destination, so you add a destination particle 에. 학교에. Am going. The base form of the verb to go is 가다. Of course, you can use the present simple tense form 가요, since the present simple tense form can cover the present continuous tense and the future tense as well in Korean. But let's put the stem 가 in the actual present continuous tense by adding 고 있어요. 가고 있어요. 저는 지금 학교에 가고 있어요. Okay? Can you see how this destination particle 에 is used? Okay, great. Next example. I arrived at home in the morning. Or I got home in the morning. Whatever the English sentence is. The usual order is going to be I, in the morning, at home, arrived. I positioned time-related word morning right after the subject I and the destination home right before the directly related verb arrived. I, 저는, in the morning. What is the noun for morning? Yes, 아침. 아침 is a noun. So in order to make it sound like in the morning in Korean, you must add a time particle 에 to 아침. 아침에. If you don't add this particle 에 to 아침, it wouldn't mean in the morning. At home. Home is the destination of the verb arrived. So you add a destination particle 에. Home or house in Korean is 집. So 집에, 집에. Arrived. The base form of the verb to arrive is 도착하다. We need to put it in the past tense. What is the stem? Yes, 도착하 is the stem. Thus, you turn the 하 sound into het and add 어요. 도착했어요. 도착했어요. 저는 아침에 집에 도착했어요. As you see, the same particle can be used multiple times in the same sentence, and people would not be confused with the usage of each because it is so obvious based on the context and everything. You know, even in English, you can use the preposition at for different things like at home, at once, at the same time, at Disneyland, etc. These ats are all different, but you're not confused with its usages. Something like that. Next example. I come to Korea every year. Now you're in Korea. Someone asks you how often you come to Korea. And you answer, I come to Korea every year. The present simple tense is used because it's something habitual or repetitive. Same in Korean. You need to use the present simple tense. I, every year, to Korea, come. Korea is your destination. You come every year. I, 저는, every year, 매년. 매년 does not indicate a point in time, but it indicates something repetitive. Something happens every year. Thus, you cannot use the time particle 에. To Korea. Korea is 한국. The full name of this country, Korea, is 대한민국. But you can just call it 한국. 한국에. Come. The base form of the verb to come is 오다. The stem is 오. So you add the ending 아요. And 오 and 아 should combine together. So it becomes 와요. 저는 매년 한국에 와요. Do you think you understand this usage of the particle 에? You can basically think this particle 에 can be used to indicate a destination of any action. For example, when you pour some water into the vase with flowers, The vase is the destination of the water you pour. So you can use this destination particle 에 for the vase too. You'll be able to consistently see all the particles that you learned from me from now on, so no worries. Take your time. Next usage. The particle 에 can be used to indicate the location, but not any location. In order to understand this usage better, you need to learn one of the two most important predicates in Korean, which is 있다. 있다. Yes, this is the same 있다 used with the present continuous ending 고 있어요. Again, this predicate 있다 is super important in learning Korean, so please try to understand the exact usages of this predicate, 있다. 있다 can be either a verb or an adjective. You can just think 있다 is not exactly a verb, and that's enough. 있다 basically means to exist. 있다 can also be used to mean something is somewhere, or something or someone is located somewhere. It can cover all the English prepositions that are used to indicate the location of something, such as in, at, on, beside, next to, in front of, inside of, above, below, under, behind, etc. Now you're getting the picture? 있다 can also be used to mean there is something. It is all because 있다 basically means exist. Okay? 있다 can also be used to mean I have something, but let's talk about this later. Of course, it's 있어요 in the present simple tense and 있었어요 in the past tense. Let's see some examples together. I'm at home now, or I'm home now, whatever the English sentence is. What should be the predicate in this sentence? Yes, am should be the predicate. And I'll position the time-related noun and adverb now right after the subject I. I now at home am. 저는 now 지금. You cannot add the time particle 에 to 지금 because it can be an adverb. At home. Home or house in Korean is 집. This is where you're at. You're located at home. You add a location particle 에. 집에. 집에. am. 있어요. 저는 지금 집에 있어요. 있어요 basically means exist. I now at home exist, which means you're located at home. You're at home or you're home. You exist at home. Got it? Let's see the next example. There is a car here. A car is here, or a car is located here. There is, in English, is used to indicate the existence of something. We don't have such a thing like there is in Korean, but we have the predicate 있다. A car here exists, or there is. A car is used as a subject because there is no such a thing there is in Korean. So a car has to be a subject and need to make a sentence like a car exists here. A car is located here. Car is 차 in Korean. Let's use the subject particle 이가 this time rather than the topic particle 은는. Why? Because if you use the topic particle 은는 here, it will provide a nuance of comparing, which is unnecessary in unusual situation. Depending on the context, of course, you can use the topic particle 은는 too. Here is 여기, and 여기 is a pronoun. So you add a location particle 에, 여기에. Exist, there is, 있어요. 차가 여기에 있어요. A car here exists. Of course, you can say 여기에 차가 있어요 too. No problem in Korean. Next, let's use the past tense for the same sentence. There was a car here. A car was located here. Or a car existed here. Let's say here first this time. 여기에 a car. 차가 there was, existed, 있었어요. 여기에 차가 있었어요. There was a car here. Let's keep talking about the location particle 에. This location particle 에 is used with the nouns which indicate the exact location or position of someone or something. In English, you use different prepositions such as in, at, on, beside, in front of, inside of, above, under, below, behind, on the left, on the right, etc., right? But in Korean, these prepositions and others can be expressed by a related noun plus the particle 에 with the predicate 있다. Okay? Let's take a look at the vocab box on the right first. The first noun, 옆, means aside. If you add a particle 에, it becomes 옆에, and it means beside or next to. Let's see the example. Japan is located next to or beside Korea. Japan, Korea next to, is located. In English, you say next to Korea, but in Korean, it's gonna be more like Korea next to. Korea comes first. The reason is because it's actually more like at Korea's side in Korean. You need to use the noun 옆, which means aside, and the particle 에 together to mean next to or beside. Japan is the subject. Let's use the topic particle 는 this time. No reason. You can just use the subject particle 이가 instead if you want. It's up to you. It just depends on the possible context that you can think of. If you cannot choose, or if you're confused with the usages of the subject particle and the topic particle, you can even just omit it. Japan in Korean is 일본. 일본은 at Korea's side. 한국 옆에 is located, exists, 있어요. 일본은 한국 옆에 있어요. Let's go back to the vocab box on the right. Please take a look at the number 3. The noun 앞, which means the front. It's a noun. So in order to make it sound more like in front of, you need to add the location particle 에 to this noun. 앞, 앞에, 앞에. Let's see the example. My girlfriend is in front of the house now. You haven't learned how to express the possessive my, but it's 제 in honorifics. 제. Why it's 제? I have no idea. Probably the same reason why 저 turns into 제 when it meets the subject particle 가, 제가. Anyway, just memorize this for now. And let's talk about the possessive forms in detail later again. My is 제. Girlfriend is 여자친구. 여자 means a woman, and 친구 means a friend. My girlfriend, 제 여자친구. My girlfriend, now, house in front of, is. House in front of is more like at house's front in Korean. And you're going to use the noun 앞, which means the front, and the particle 에, 앞에, 앞에. My girlfriend, 제 여자친구가. I use the subject particle 이가. Now, 지금. At house's front, 집 앞에. Is, exist, 있어요. 제 여자친구가 지금 집 앞에 있어요. Are you going to ask why the subject particle 이가 is used this time? No particular reason. Just in my head, I think the nuance that the particle 는 provides would make this short sentence sound different than what I intended. That's all. You can of course use the topic particle 는 instead. I just think it's unnecessary. You need to make your own logic too. Please study all these nouns and the combinations with the particle 에 yourself. I'll just show you one more example on this page before I wrap this up. I am behind the building. I, at the building's back, exist. 저는, at the building's back. Building in Korean is 건물. 건물. Back, as a noun in Korean, is 뒤. If you add a particle 에, you can use it to mean behind. Building's back. 건물 뒤에. 건물 뒤에, behind the building. Exist, am, 있어요. 저는 건물 뒤에 있어요. I, at building's back, exist. I am behind the building. 저는 건물 뒤에 있어요. Okay? Great. We'll learn other location-related and destination-related particles in the next lesson. See you next time. Bye for now.